Hey y'all, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little bit choked up. So I've been moving dorms. I ain't showed y'all the new dorm just yet. Um, cause I'm planning on kind of like, I guess, recording me arranging and shit in there when I start getting it set up. Um, I goddamn, blowing me up. I was sitting here thinking about I already got some of my stuff moved over, and okay. So there's something that I've done for a long time since I was in high school. Since the first time I had to move in recent history. Because before I lived in this particular house on a street called Ross Street in Steubenville. And I loved that house. It was lovely. There were a lot of bad memories there, but like, I don't know. I had my own. I knew that house very intimately, and I had my own little pockets of comfort within it. You know, my own little escapes. I had my own little. You know, I had my spiders. Okay, and you know, I kind of like I had. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was locked out in a garage once in second grade because with my ADHD, I was having a hard time with focusing and shit. I don't know. That might have been third grade by that point. Maybe even fourth. Fuck if I know. I do know that it was at that house though for certain because we had that garage that was attached to the house. And I was locked out in it. And I wasn't allowed to come back in until I was done with all my schoolwork. So I would sit there and, you know, the more pressure you put on me to focus on a thing, the harder it is for me to focus on the thing. That's what my parents didn't realize. They actually set me up to be in there all goddamn day by doing that. And by parents, I mean my dad. He's a fucking dumbass. But so I was in there all day and I got freaked out by this spider because up to this point I was scared of spiders, like terrified, like phobic, fully phobic of spiders. And but after this, I walked away. I was never scared of spiders again. No, 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 no. You know what? It had to be second grade or early on third grade because Grams was still alive. I remember. See, I know how to keep my timeline straight. Yeah, I remember. But I remember I wasn't in first grade either because first grade I didn't have nearly as many problems with it. By second grade though, my focus was shit. And my dad was handling it worse and worse with every year, and it's like, oh god. So it's becoming a compounding issue. But I started talking to the spider, and ever since then I've been friends with the spiders. So many generations of spiders I would feed in that house and take care of. And then when we were moving, I was packing up, and guess what? I packed up my spiders to come with. Because, okay, hear me out. Spiders are evolved to live, house spiders, that is, are evolved to live indoor alongside humans. The ones who get found and get killed, them are the ones who are inherently weaker and get weeded out as far as the gene pool goes. Now, due to the fact that I had knowingly tampered with the gene pool, all of my spiders trusted me enough to all be out in the open, thus tampering with and changing this natural selection tendency. and setting them up for potential harm in the future from the next humans. So, of course, it was my responsibility now to pack them all up and take them with me. And I've been doing that ever since. So I do it at every dorm. And I'm sitting here and I'm already plotting out, packing them up. And they're usually one of the last ones I'll be packing up. But already some of them knew. Because, a couple of these ones, I've moved so many times this past year and a half that these ones have been probably moving with me multiple times over as well, and have likely caught on to the game. They're like, oh, now this one's my homie. This one wants us to come with. When they saw I was packing up boxes, they were like, we know, cause I got started packing up at the next dorm, and I start putting down boxes, and immediately some of my spiders start crawling out to find their new places to build their webs. And I'm sitting here getting choked up over it. I'm like, I'm a cold-hearted thug of a bitch, okay? I will feed any of these hoes. I don't care if they fucking cry and they eyes out, terrified of spiders. I will feed them to my army of spiders if they cross me. But I'm sitting here getting choked up about my spiders catching on to how I do things and already knowing to move themselves over to the new dorm. That had me choked up. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I love my spiders, man. They're my family. And if anyone hurts my spiders, they're hurting my kin. Oh, dude. A few days ago, I was researching those spiders they got in Australia, the huntsman spiders. Oh, those big ones, those real big ones that everyone be seeing on the internet and panicking about. And it's like, and they'd be like, I'd burn down the house. And it's like, bro, those things are gentle giants. They are not here to harm anybody. They don't even want to be indoors. But I learned that sometimes you can keep them as pets. You just got to make sure that you create an environment that is healthy for and meets their needs. Kind of like how people got to make sure that they're meeting the needs of their cat or their dog, or else their dog or cat is going to be getting depressed. I know some people with depressed cat because they're elderly and they ain't meeting the needs of their cat, and they don't realize they ain't meeting the needs of the cat because they got that old boomer mentality of, oh, cats just tend to themselves, they're independent, they don't need me to do anything but change their shit box and put food in their bowl and make sure they got water, and then they're good. You're wrong. You're elderly and you're wrong. Anyway. But no, as long as you meet their needs, they can lead very happy and very, quite safe little lives in captivity. So I wouldn't mind having a huntsman spider or two in my little army. Oh, and I would probably hold them and pet them. Oh, they would be so lovely. Because those ones are much bigger, so they're not as fragile as the itty-bitty ones. The itty-bitty ones I'm very, very gentle about. I don't touch them. I actually use paper to scoop them up because people don't realize that spiders have very frail little bodies. They use so much force when killing them, and it's like, oh God, that's overkill. How would you like it if I used a goddamn, like if someone used a giant nuke for a singular human or to crush an ant? That's basically the kind of overkill people be bringing to this fight when it comes to spiders. And it's like, that's not even necessary. The spider wants nothing to do with you. They can feel, they have all those hairs on their body. They can feel the vibrations of your existence, and they are running the hell away from you. Trust and believe, they're not plotting against you. I promise you, you do not need to kill the spider. Now, if you got a wolf spider, a brown recluse spider, a huntsman spider, or any kind of spider like that, now that's an outside spider. It don't want to be indoors. Now, you don't need to be killing it. Even the brown recluse, they got a bad name because people don't know how to be caring for their own goddamn wounds. I've been bit more times than I can goddamn count. And let me tell you, I'm allergic to most bug bites. And goddamn, I got both my legs and I ain't fucking dead. Brown recluse ain't never done nothing to hurt me. And anytime I got bit by them, I knew full well why I got bit. That's why I don't get bit by them no more. I learned, and I took it in stride. I learned I was trampling all up in their homes, and they were biting me in self-defense, as they were rightfully doing. And as a logical, reasonable human being, I was like, yeah, no, I shouldn't have been doing that. That's like getting mad at the cat for, sitting there batting at it and annoying it and smacking it in the face over and over and then it clawing you. The fuck? That's like blaming the cat when you the aggressor. You might not be aware you're the aggressor, but you the aggressor. Just because you ain't aware of it don't mean it ain't the case. I was at least able to be like, okay, I know I had been trampling all up through their webs, and that's evident by all these bites I got up and down my legs. So I could tell which one, in fact, I could tell which ones were recluse bites and which ones were just overreactive, other kinds of bug bites, because indeed those do look quite different on me. So it the case being, brown recluses get this reputation for seeking people out to attack them. They don't want to do that. Trust me, they got the name recluse for a reason. They want to get the fuck away from you more than any other spider wants to get the fuck away from you. And trust me, every spider wants to get the fuck away from you. Unless spiders come to recognize you as a friendly human, as a non-threat, as the spiders very quickly learn of me, they will avoid your goddamn ass and stay out of your goddamn space. Now, I've had a few wolf spiders come up in here. Unfortunately, they got away before I could set them free, and they didn't manage to escape out of here before. Unfortunately, they're not built for survival indoors. Indoors doesn't have as many bugs as outdoors. Indoor spiders are adapted to go long periods of time between meals. They're used to dry spells, unlike outdoor spiders, which are used to the active hunting, where they actively hunt down other insects as prey, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That was my philosophy, and that is why I befriended the spider long ago, and that is why I still befriend the spider now. And as time has gone on, I've actually come to not fear even the ones that I saw as enemies. As I come to understand them, I learned that misplaced fear. But I still have a loyalty to my spiders because, first of all, they're literally everywhere. It's like my house comes with free pets no matter where I go. And also, everyone's always afraid of them. And how badass of a flex is that to be able to be like, oh shit, a spider, just pick it up and everyone's like. And when I pick them up, it's more like I let them crawl onto my hand because, like I said, they've got very fragile little bodies. You handle them with too much force and you will cripple them, you will damage them. It's really quite horrible. If they fall, they can die. It's awful. And it doesn't even have to be a very far fall. That's the thing. To us, it's like, oh, that's nothing. But to them, it's like they got injured so bad that there's no surviving. In a few hours, they're dead. I witnessed that with one of my spiders, Daisy. So yeah. Poor Daisy. She was an unfortunate she was an unfortunate casualty of my youth and my ignorance. I hadn't realized their level of fragility at that time. This was when I was trying to pack up all the spiders in the house to prepare them for moving. I was putting them in jars. And when I was trying to catch her, she kind of fell into the jar. And so it wasn't that far of a fall, you see, but it was still enough. And let me tell you, I learned a thing. Now I know to guide them into the jars. And now most of my spiders is free range now. If they live in my house, they're free range. I do want to get a tarantula sometime, though, because that'd be so dope. Now, that one won't be free range for obvious goddamn reasons. Because that would require specialized kind of like care, and letting it be free range would be very dangerous and detrimental to its health. And I would literally rather die. But yeah. Having a pet tarantula would be so fucking cool. And I don't think that would be against the rules. So yeah. And then I'll start threatening to feed people to my tarantula and then be tearing up, be like, oh my God, what a good little pet my pet is. Every time the tarantula, like, just does the smallest thing. I don't know. Spiders are friend shaped and people misunderstand them. And it's just, I'd be tearing up. I'd be getting choked up about spiders. I don't know. I don't know if I'm delusional, but I feel like the spiders here, they trust me. They know that I'm here to care for them, and they trust me. Like I said, they already know that I'm moving them over to my next dorm. They've been with me for how many moves now, and they're already moving over there with me. And I love that for them. I love that so much. I'm always so very cautious. I always make mental note. See, when I get into a space, I always keep note of where all the spiders are at all times. And I keep track of where they are, and I keep track of when they move. Because it keeps me from accidentally disturbing them and accidentally doing them any harm as well. See, that's what I mean when I talk about being mindful of my spiders. They're my little community, and so I'm very, very mindful of them. And as a result, they are very mindful of me. I have not had any issues with bugs, particularly a whole great deal this summer. Anytime any kind of mosquito got in, it very quickly became a snack for one of my little friends. And the gnats always became snacks quickly for the little spiders. My little friends, my little tiny friends, my most vulnerable friends. But yes, fun fact, spiders also need to stay hydrated. Once again, indoor spiders are adapted to survive longer with less compared to the outdoor ones. The outdoor ones have great deals of water in which they can consume. I learned these things because I actually tried to keep a recluse as a pet once when I was 18. It didn't work. I believe I named her Rachel. She was a good lass. I didn't have the appropriate setup, and I knew she wasn't happy, so I set her free in the woods, where I knew she would be much happier. I even went out of my way to go and catch what I knew she would enjoy eating, and that was. But while she was in the small container, she wasn't interested in doing any hunting. She just didn't. She was not interested. So the moment I let her out of the container, the prey that was in there with her, it was like, oh shit, I'm out. I know I'm done now. I know I'm cooked. I know that bitch is coming for me now. I never seen it move so fast. I bet she still won. I bet she still tracked that bitch down and ate it. I hope. I surely do. Oh, and there was that time I tried to keep a wolf spider as a pet. That also failed. Let me just say, um, before I try to get any such pet spider, I'm going to try to have a more suitable environment so that they can have the kind of enrichment that they require to not be terribly depressed, because they will not eat in such a state. They will actively not hunt if they are depressed and do not have the right enriching environment. On the bright side, I think that a tarantula will be pretty easy to manage, because I could do that with a small, like a terrarium quite easily. Whereas with the others, the other kinds of spiders, they prefer trees. So I'd need something a little bit bigger, because they like tree bark. Especially the huntsman spiders. If I'm going to have huntsman spiders, I'm going to need a really big space, because they like getting cozy up in that tree bark. And they like rocks and crevices and vertical spaces. So I'm going to need to have like specialized spaces for them. But that's okay. When I'm a doctor someday, I'll be able to do that. I'll have specialized spaces. I plan on having some of the coolest and biggest fucking huntsman spiders I can get my hands on, because it's just so fucking cool, dude. Could you imagine being just looking at someone and being like, "Don't make me feed you to my spiders," and people being like, and then they're like, "What kind of spiders?" And being like, "I have an army of huntsman spiders," and then they're like, "Those big ass bitches from uh, Australia," and just being like, bigger. Because, if I'm going to get huntsman spiders, I'm going to have a few, and, I'm going to have them have the biggest ones I can get my hands on, which means some of the ones from Laos as well. Those things are huge, and that is so dope. Now, those are the ones that like the rocks and cracks and crevices and stones. Um, those bitches are so big. I love them. And they look so cute. Oh my god,